Hey guys, what's going on? It's Meshi with Path to Wellness with Meshi. Full moon once again. We have made it to June, the full moon in June. So I wanted to share with you from an absolute beginner's perspective what you can expect at this full moon as we're entering into full moon in Sagittarius. So if you're brand new to following the lunar cycles and you just really wanted to get ready energetically of what you can expect and how it may be affecting you this lunar cycle, then just stay tuned and let's get right into it. You've seen me do the rituals. You see that, the moon is actually gaining some light. We know all about why that's important. And if you're brand new to lunar cycles and following living in a cyclic way, basically it's all about just tuning in to something greater than you and getting connected back to nature, but also tuning into you. And sometimes I find that a lot of these videos that I have found personally online, while some of them are absolutely amazing, but I find that the more we're tuning outwards to get answers, the more we forget to listen inwards. So I wanted to share with you from a student and from a beginner's perspective, as I'm not an astrologer. I like to call myself a seeker, and I think a lot of you are the same way as well, where you have that general interest and you're interested and curious, and you really wanted to have a better understanding of how certain shifts energetically will impact you. And then after that, you can sit there and you can sort of figure out what you want to do with that information. And to me, that's true empowerment, where really the information that comes at you, it's all about just figuring out how does that apply to you, if at all, So let's start. Number one is that you may be finding yourself in this really agitated, really out of place spot emotionally, where you just know that something needs to change, because the way that you have built things up in your life up to this point are really keeping you playing it safe, and that might feel like you're stuck energetically. Well, for one, you're not stuck, but I just want you to understand that if you don't break through that and you don't recognize that there has to be a shift that will take place, then you will always play safe. You will always play it small. And you're feeling that agitative energy, you will feel like something just needs to change because it's not working for you the way that it has been up to this point. So to me, that's a surefire sign that you're ready for growth and you're ready for change and you're ready to shift. You may not have full clarity around what that is, but you're getting intuitive hits of what that might look like for you. But you definitely, you have full-blown clarity that what you've done up to this point, that playing it safe, playing it small, going with the crowds, going with conforming to whatever other people want for you, it's no longer working for you. You're ready to sort of find your own voice and let it be heard, because right now, you're no longer happy and content at playing it small. So that might be number one. Number two, you're starting to connect the dots of really what needs to shift for you and who you were and how far you have come. So you may have taken some time, and this might actually be the perfect time for you to sit down with your journal and really just, you don't even need journal prompts at this point, but what you would need is just free write. So when you have a moment when things can be quiet and you're not agitated, you're not annoyed or anything, sit down and free write what's coming up for you, because you might find a lot of truth in a lot of that. But really, just take a moment to reflect of how far you've come, and take a moment to also celebrate those wins, because it's not in our lives and everything that we do, it's not black and white. It's not all of our experiences are not always good and bad and, yellow and orange. It's not really like that. Everything is sort of a mishmash of colors, and really it's whatever you put your attention on, that will have the ability to expand. So if you find yourself really, really focusing on a lot of the lack, a lot of the negative, what you haven't accumulated yet, what you haven't gone yet, the people that you haven't met yet, etc., etc., at that point, you may really live in a way that you have a difficult time finding what's actually been working for you in the past 6 months. And that's sort of when having a little bit of perspective, sometimes putting it on paper might actually work a little bit better, because then it forces your mind. If you heard me talk about this, you heard me talk about, like, rave about journaling and why that's so important. It's because it forces your mind to slow things down and really realign and see sort of what has been really working, because it's not always going to be all bad. It, like, a lot of things have been working great for you. There's a lot of blessings around you, and it's your job to really find it and appreciate it and take that in and let that soak in, because then those things, when you take those in, it will allow you to move forward in a more positive way, and also handle the tougher days, the tougher moments in your life so much easier, because you know that they're temporary and they're there for your growth. Number 3, speaking of growth, we're all about entering into a form of transformation. This is, again, no surprise. I'm not going to be Captain Obvious. You've probably watched a few of these videos already where, and I'm not going to mock them, I think that they're very informative, but I don't want to regurgitate that same information to you, because I don't want to insult your intelligence. I don't want to keep telling you, well, it's a sign, it's a form of transformation. The full moon represents, like, when everything is in fully illuminated and you see the path in front of you and everything is super clear. It may or may not be super clear. I think that the energies are a lot stronger, especially at this full moon, because, oh, by the way, like, the full moon right now happens as of June 17th, the day when I'm actually recording this. I know, we're on top of it. It's happened June 17th. You have a couple of days to work with this energy, where, like, the energy of the moon is the strongest. And this is sort of the time when most people take some time to reflect, but then also it becomes very clear of where they need to shift and then what needs to be left behind. So that's sort of the essence of the full moon. But what we need to, the reason why this particular full moon is so special is because this is the last full moon before we enter into the summer solstice, when things are really, like, bountiful, and we're going to be chatting about that at the next video. But for now, all you need to know is that this is the last full moon, and it's also known as a strawberry moon, and it's going to be very visible on the day of the full moon, which will be tonight. Energetically speaking, how can you work with this energy? Well, really, just understand that it's a time for a transformation, and you choose, and I repeat, you choose how much are you ready and willing to shift? How much are you willing to shift? And if you want big things, and if you want to go big and create massive shifts in this world, then it's going to be not just, I think that there's sort of a sense of misconception around this, where, you know, big shifts, big blessings, big transformations. Well, transformation is ugly, and it gets muddy and dirty, and it rips you on the inside out, and you will question even your own identity. So I want you to be very careful of what you're wishing for, because when people say transformation and shifting, they're actually talking about some of the emotional baggage that may be coming up for you, and then you're going to have to deal with those things. So I don't just want you to look at the full moon like, oh my God, girl, transformation time. Blessings are coming. Okay, that's cool. Do the work. Do the work so that those blessings and those transformations can take place. Take notice. What is it that you're clinging onto that's, like, super shitty and it's not serving you? And you recognize it, that, oh my God, I've been doing this for like 20 years. Why have I been blocking my own growth? Like, what happened? So you will probably find that certain things are shifting for you internally. You're finding that you feel out of place. You will also probably find that you want to just pivot a little bit into a different direction, where you feel a little bit more aligned, where you feel like there's a community that's waiting for you, that is ready to support you. And yes, those blessings are coming. And yes, like, really, you have the ability to step into your true power, but not without really taking a hard look at what hasn't really worked for you and why it hasn't worked for you. That part is that time of self-reflection and just taking account of not only the good but the not so good without really emotionally clinging to it is so important, because if you don't, then those lessons will keep coming up and keep coming up, and you're creating patterns that are really not supporting you, and you can't really step into your full power otherwise. And being in your full power is sort of what you're here to do, you know? Yes, you're here to be love and light, but you're here to create massive changes. So please own that. Please own the fact that you are powerful. Like, instead of just waiting for some guru to come in and tell you what you should be doing, when really all along the clues are everywhere. Speaking of clues, that's the other thing that you will probably find, that downloads are coming. They are trying to come. They're trying to catch your attention. The little signs, the feathers, the numbers, the certain songs that just catches your attention, the music, the thing that just makes like the hair on your arm stand up, because you're just like, oh my God, that's what you really mean? That's what's trying to catch my attention. Yeah, those are your actual signs that Spirit is trying to connect with you. Please take time to tune into that. That's very important. And not so that you can call yourself spiritual, but because honestly, they're leaving you clues of the direction that you need to be going into. That's actually for your better good. So if you're been catching yourself in finding certain clues, and you're finding yourself just really questioning certain things, that's also a clue. And the only way that you can really, it's almost like you need to kind of figure out a way how you can get out of your own way. And the best way that you can get out of your own way is to stop dwelling on the past, try to get present right now, and try to get present by putting yourself in a state, creating that environment where it's like everything is like you're idiot proofing your environment, essentially, where everything around you is completely set up so that it supports you, your being, your soul, your mind, your emotions. It's there to support you. And I think that that's where there's a big misconception around this as well, where here's where the misunderstanding happens. Like, you're doing those things so that it changes your psychology, it changes your emotional and your physical state. And when that happens, then you're thinking from a much calmer state rather than from a stressed out, overworked, run down, negative, lower vibrational state. Because when you're in a lower vibrational state, whether you're feeling jealous or petty or argumentative, or you get triggered easily, or you're just overly tired, or you're really overly negatively thinking everything, that's really a lower vibrational state. And the longer you stay in that, the more it's going to be draining off your energy. So your job at that point is, 1, to create awareness around it, and 2, to shift from that state and make a decision to shift from that state so you can be at a higher vibrational state. Because at that point, Spirit can actually connect to you. Your intuition can be heightened, and you can really figure out, without asking gurus and friends and this and that. You don't have to ask anyone of what your direction should look like. You will feel it internally, and that's your clue. You need to feel that energetic shift so that you can move forward. And number 5, which kind of ties into number 4, don't attach yourself to the negative ways of being. If you recognize that, especially if you can, through your journaling, you're finding that you're already figured out that a lot of the things that you used to do and you used to think and the way that you used to feel, it's 1, not serving you, and 2, you're kind of recognizing those behavior patterns as not even your own. That's your surefire sign that it was a form of conditioning through your environment, whether that was a teacher, a parent, a grandparent, a cultural upbringing, whatever it was. Just understand that that belief system might not be your own, but yet you're carrying it like it's your own truth. If you're carrying it like it's your own truth, then you're really blocking your own, like you're really setting up roadblocks for yourself. So it's not going to support you. And once you recognize that those belief systems are not your own, then it becomes a lot easier to shift out of them and choose differently. Because that choice, that conscious choice, is always yours. So if you're finding yourself that you're getting down in the rabbit hole of negative thinking, just make sure that, again, you're consciously creating that environment where you can shift out of these negative states of being much faster. You have a support system that surrounds you. You have the things, your tools, your exercise, exercises, the way that you're eating, the way that you're sleeping, the way that you are connecting with your community, that can all support you in synchrony, especially when you're finding yourself tapping back in continuously into negative states of being. These are the top 5 things that I wanted to share with you guys. Happy full moon. I'm so excited for this because this is the last full moon, and I will be doing my ritual today because I really wanted to celebrate, and I really wanted to take some time and reflect on what is not working. And it's so interesting when you can take some time to tune in, because your truth will be so different than someone else's. So find your own voice, tap into that as often as you can, and keep shifting, you guys, because you are so much more powerful than you think. You just need to give yourself the ability to get to that point. And I'm so glad that you stuck with me. If you are still here, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you are brand new, consider subscribing. We are now chatting about 3 times a week here on this channel. We talk about spirituality, mindset shifts, zero waste, and how we can live a more consciously driven life that can actually support our best health. So if that sounds good to you, then hit the notification bell so you get notified every single time that I release a video. And in the meanwhile, I would love to hear from you in the comment section. Let me know what your full moon ritual looks like and how you are planning on tuning into this new moon. Full moon. Okay, I will see you guys again in my next video. Bye.